let's talk about, he's probably the most polarizing player on the Pistons right now, and that's Killian Hayes. And I've tweeted a few things about Killian Hayes. Like, I try not to be super negative. I try to be realistic when it comes to him. But have you been impressed with him during preseason at all? Or, I mean, yeah, I just want to hear your thoughts. Have you been impressed with Killian Hayes this preseason?
Okay. This is kind of like what we get every year with Killian Hayes. We're impressed with him in the preseason because, you know, the expectations are heaped on him. But then when the regular season comes, you know, it's a different story. I think I will say this, though. It's kind of like with Ivy. He has a little bit of different fire to him in just how he's playing. Not really still not of a fan of his outside shot. I still think that is something that is going to, regardless of what he's been doing, I'm still not a fan of the shot. But again, it's the Williams thing. He's playing with a new intensity, and I'm curious to see if Monty can pull anything out of him, you know, as they go ahead into the season. So I'm mixed on him.
Yeah.
Have you been impressed with him, Anthony?
No, it's funny because like me and Kory had this conversation maybe 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Because we were talking about Killian. I said, man, like if Monty Williams can make Elfrid Payton look playable, imagine what he could do with Killian Hayes. And I kind of told Kory, I was like, man, dude, like I'm so sick of Killian. He pulls me in every preseason. I get hype, and then he's shooting 12% from 3 from the season, and I'm just like he does it to me every year. Now I know we've talked about possibly playing him off ball. I know, and not only you, I have seen a lot of people among social media say play Killian off ball next to Cade or next to Monte Morris off the bench. I just don't know what his role is going to be. And I think the only reason why he actually got playing time was because Monte Morris just wasn't healthy for the preseason.
Yeah.
Because like if Monte Morris was healthy for the preseason, we probably don't see Killian Hayes. Who knows if we see that much of Marcus Sasser either. So it's Next man up, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's an interesting too. Like, I know we'll talk about that later on. So what do you see Killian Hayes' role on the Pistons? Because for me, with the team with Cade, Jaden Ivey, Monte Morris, Ausar Thompson, and I've been super impressed, just like everybody else, with Marcus Sasser. It really seems like Killian Hayes' time is coming out, and I don't see him as a point guard really with that amount of guards on the team, because if Cade's on the floor, if Jaden Ivey's on the floor, if Ausar or if Monte Morris is on the floor, I don't want the ball in Killian Hayes' hands. I just don't. That's why I've suggested playoff ball, focus on the defense, try to be a secondary playmaker, I guess, do something like that, and just play off of the strengths you have. But I just don't want to see him be a point guard. So, like, Kory, what role do you see for Killian Hayes on the Pistons with this many guards on the roster?
Well, it's to just what Anthony said. Right now, he's going to be in that rotation. But when, Morris comes back, you got to think. You got Cade's the number. Cade's 1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then they brought in Monte to be the backup. And you got Marcus there. You want to see what he's there. So maybe it might be a battle between him and Marcus to see who's going to be that third point guard in the rotation. But when you really think about it, I would rather, if I'm, let's just say I'm in coaching or whatever, you would think that Marcus Sasser would be able to get those minutes over Killian, because right now you've already seen what you got from him. Only reason I would say that probably Killian would get trotted out there maybe a little bit more is if, you're just trying to showcase him a little bit for whatever reason you want to. Take that however you want. But I mean, when he comes back, I mean, I see him as being the third guard at best, because you brought Monte in for a reason. You didn't bring Monte in to go ahead and move him. You brought him in because you need somebody that can be able to run the offense, that can stretch the floor when Cade is on the bench. Because I mean, just look at the preseason. Killian is still a below 30. Listen, not even say 30 below 30. He's a below 25% 3-point shooter. And as a point guard in the NBA, he's good on defense. I'll give him that, but he just the shooting, it leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah, he's 2 for 9, I believe, on 3-pointers, and if I did my math correctly, that's 22% from three. He was shooting 17% going into the second Oklahoma City game. I think that's what it was. And for me, I see it on Twitter where they're like, "Man, the shot looks good." I'm like, dude, I don't know I mean, yeah, a couple of them gone down for mid-range, but that's not really what we need. I don't need him to be the vocal point, and
Yeah.
I just don't know what they're doing. But go on. Were you gonna say something?
No, it's weird. You look at his preseason numbers, he almost shot 60% from the field.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, his shot's going in from mid-range, he still has a really hard time when you watch him like finishing around the rim. He's so dominant with that left hand. I don't know what it is. He just won't finish with his right hand. But I mean, that's something he hasn't developed yet, I guess. But I mean, he reminds me of Elfrid Payton so much. And if you guys know who Elfrid Payton is,
Yeah.
can't shoot the 3-point shot, but he can pass the ball, play defense, and a rotational piece. I think he gave he's playing for a national team. He dropped like 25 points, but they got blown up by 40 because he's trying to get back in the NBA. But maybe that'll be Killian's role in a few years. You never know.
Man, I've always compared him to Chris Dunn, but Chris Dunn is playing a lot better for Utah since, I don't know, he had like a sabbatical from the NBA, it seems like, and he came back much more improved offensively. But do you think Marcus Sasser takes minutes from Killian Hayes and actually, because I thought he'd start in the G League to start the season, but the way he's played preseason, I'm like, dude, another rookie making me eat my words. But do you think Marcus Sasser takes minutes from Killian Hayes and maybe we see him in the rotation more, even with Monte Morris out?
As of right now, I would lean towards. I don't think he would take that many minutes away from Killian. It's kind of, I really got to break down and do my my starting five and my roster going into the season. But I would say that when Marcus comes back, when Monte comes back, yeah, I can see Marcus getting that G League assignment because you just still got to go ahead and give the respect to Killian for now. But as of right now, I would say Marcus, they'll probably maybe split minutes, because I think there's something there with Sasser.
Yeah, he just plays with so much confidence and he's so dynamic. And I think the biggest thing that I take away from his game is he's just not afraid of the moment. And whether it's driving
in the summer league as well.
Yeah. he had 40 points in a summer league game. It was just incredible. And he wants that last shot. Like there's no fear in his game. He's an incredible prospect.